This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by Township Council with the schedule designated time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record, and we request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state their name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison.
Present.
Mr. Schmidt.
Present.
Mrs. Stubbs.
Present.
Mrs. Winters. Here. Mr. Mignon.
Here.
Mrs. Trotto. Here. Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Carmen here.
Mr. Carmer cannot be here today.
Mr. Carts.
Here.
Mr. Lechner. Deputy Chief Harkins.
Here.
And Mr. Cantwell is not here today. He had another meeting. We'll now open up the first public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. What time? Let's see, one time. Okay, good job. All right. Paxton, you got the next one. Okay. We'll now have minutes, waive the reading, accept the minutes of regular meeting September 11th, 2017, September 25th, and also workshop meeting October 7th, 2017. I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Trotter.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mignon. On the question, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison.
I'll abstain on the 11th, yes on the 25th, and yes on the workshop.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs. Yes. Mrs. Winters.
Abstain on September 11th and yes for the 25th and October 2nd.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mrs. Trotto.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes to all. Next, we have our consent agenda. Any council member would like to remove any items listed on the consent agenda, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchison.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Stubbs. On the question, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mrs. Trotto.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Next, we have our GTE Gov access. We received 3 emails from Mr. Peter Heimball at 2 Morningstar Court, Sicklerville, New Jersey. His first question. On the bill list, the vendor All Cover was paid over $17,000. What work did they do for GT for that $17,000? Please explain the nature of the existing contract between All Covered and GT. Has the volume and or scope of contracted work from All Covered or for GT increased in the past year or 2? All Covered provides IT services remotely on-site for the township. In their initial proposal, it was $5,891.60 a month. They provide IT services remotely and on-site for the police as well at a per hourly rate. And the last part of his question, over the past 2 or 3 years, the services have expanded. Originally, the police department had an in-house IT department. That has expanded from non-police to also include non-police and police for technology needs for the municipality. Next, answer to his second question. On the bill list, $19,000 was paid to Blue Sky Power. Please explain the work done for this payment. The actual bill was $19,187. It covers the period of July 21st to October 1st of 2017. The invoice has a list of projects that Blue Sky works for. Blue Sky is our energy consultant. They're working on GEM's landfill solar energy project with the township. Township solar projects, which includes the schools, PPA, bill analysis, and RECs. The General Energy Committee, their programs, and also the Owens Corning landfill solar project. So their hours included on our invoice, and that's a total of $19,187. The last question. Regarding Resolution 1710-279, please explain this new position, Emergency Medical Services. This is not a new position. We go out for RFQ RFP, RFQ for emergency services, those who are providing ambulances for our township. The last time a proposal went out was received was in November 7th of 2012. It's a 5-year contract that's mandated by the state. That sunsets on December 31st of 2017. So this is going out for an RFP, RFQ for the most responsible proposal as determined by the Township Council. So that's what that resolution was. Now we have our second public portion. Anyone wishing to speak on any item, you just have to raise your hand and address council at the microphone. Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidoro from the Historic Village of Ariel. Welcome, Scouts. Good to have you aboard. First, I'd like to start off by including a couple of prayers. We didn't have an invocation before this evening's meeting. I was just made aware of the passing of Marge Martinez, who I would encounter at the Heritage in Ariel quite often, and was very fond of Marge, and my family prays along with council for the loss of Marge Martinez, as well as another individual that was involved with the township, Eric Lawrence, the brother of former Councilman Eugene Lawrence, and the sad passing of Eric Lawrence. Also in our prayers, I would like to include our four friends from Winslow Township that lost their lives here in Gloucester Township in a very, very horrific accident on Sicklerville Road. Along with that, I would like to commend the police department and the first responders. There were siren after siren and helicopters, and they were out there moving as quickly as possible to save as many lives as they possibly could. An outstanding job. The one question I had not intended on asking, but I did see something before I left the house. Back in January, when you had borrowed and bonded $6.6 million, amongst the items on that was the playground for Brittany Woods, which I believe is completed or just about completed. The listed amount for that was $105,500. Am I correct?
Ray, if you had called me earlier, I could corroborate those numbers, but you're spewing numbers and I don't have any.
Okay, and again, it was almost on the way out the door that I saw.
Give face value to it.
On the agenda, and please take what I say to be the truth because it's from the website, $105,500. Do you know what the total cost of that playground was to date of that $105,000?
As we sit here today, could not tell you that. I would
You have
have to research that.
Estimated number, ballpark?
I want to say it's right around 100, maybe a little bit above that, could be closer to 117, maybe 120. The cost breakdown on that is about 50% of the cost for the rubber surfacing. The other 50% would be for the actual playground structure itself and the installation. That's, again, just a guess. Until I look at it and confirm, I will be able to know for sure. I know one of the playgrounds was purchased through a cooperative purchasing agreement. The other was via state contract, because there was one at State Street also.
Okay. And I guess the last question is in follow-up of the tragic accident that we did have on Sicklerville Road. Maybe the police department would be best suited to answer this question. The neighbors in and about that area have made a point that they say that light coming off of Jarvis Road to turn onto Sicklerville Road is about a 2 to 3 second light or thereabout for two vehicles to make that green light. I myself drove that to see if that was true. Second in line I was, and as I was turning the second vehicle to make a left on Sicklerville Road heading towards Cross Keys, the light was changing yellow. It seems to be the feeling of the folks down in that particular area that because in higher traffic times that folks would take Dunlin Way to avoid that light. Okay? And if that light is that short, and is that something that we can take a look at and maybe expand, because that's just something that none of us want to happen again.
I would imagine
So we'll look at it tomorrow.
I'll also tell Mr. Cantwell about that as well.
You got, we'll have our traffic safety unit look at it tomorrow. I wasn't aware there was a timing issue, but we'll definitely check.
Yeah, and Deputy Chief, as that second vehicle, and, you know, the first person wasn't hesitant in moving. The second vehicle, it was already turning. And again, to the scouts, I hope that you enjoyed today's meeting, and I surely hope you guys come back. It was an honor to have you. Good night, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Mr. Polidoro, was Jarvis and Sicklerville that light?
Yes.
Jarvis and Sicklerville?
Yes.
Yeah, when you're coming off of Jarvis to turn, let's say you're going to Mullen, you're making that left.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I experienced that the other night with the football
Okay.
game at the Timber Creek, and it's
Short.
a long line, yeah, and people just can't get enough cars through it.
I'll have it checked.
Anyone else? Ms. Carr?
Joanne Carr, Timber Birch. I just came back to see if anybody had an answer to my question from 2 weeks ago about the ballot question. The state wants to issue a $125 million bond to help libraries. And somewhere in there it said counties or municipalities and municipalities would have to match whatever we got. So,
I spoke to the Assemblywoman for that, and she wanted to get additional information for me. Is it possible I can contact you tomorrow?
Sure
I'm
can.
still waiting to hear back from Gary on that as well.
sure can. Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the second public portion. Pat. Oh, all right, okay. All right. Before we get to our polling of directors, Daniel, you want to tell me a little bit about what PAC 184 has been doing?
We've been doing some projects, and we've been doing some more camping trips, and we've definitely been getting more people to join.
Okay. What type of projects have you been doing?
Like
Paxton, you want to tag in and help them out?
That like the projects that we have been doing and like enjoy like conclude with like the environment and it's like helping people like if like a bad storm is coming, like helping them so that their house doesn't get like damaged or broken down.
Great. There's a gentleman down there want to add to it?
okay.
We're gonna do some of the Cub Scouts in Pack 184 are gonna do shootery this weekend.
Andrew, you got anything to add? Okay. Daniel, want to add one more thing?
Every year we do canned food goods or like popcorn, like food drives or something. Help the community.
Okay. What grade are you in? What school do you go to?
Ariel Elementary and Elementary.
Fifth grade, okay? Max.
James Wood Elementary School, 5th grade.
You were on the news last week, right?
Yup.
There you go.
Yes, I was. Since I came to Texas.
Okay, you were at Lily School too? Fifth grade, okay? Andrew? Andrew's the quiet one, right?
Yup.
Ariel Elementary. Fifth grade, okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson, for bringing us that the PAC wanted to come and talk to us and sit up here, so I appreciate you guys being here. Polling of directors.
Deputy Chief Harkins,
Nothing back.
Mr. Cardis,
Just my condolences to the Martin
Mr. Hutchinson.
You Cub Scouts, Weeblos, you're the future of this town, so keep it up. Do a good job. Thank you very much for coming out.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes, Marge Martin was a very productive, informed person in our community, the town council and town government. She will greatly be missed. Eric Lawrence also was a concerned citizen, and he was a heck of an athlete. I'd like to thank PAC 184 for joining us this evening. Thank you gentlemen very much. Have a good day.
Mrs. Stubbs.
I'd also like to thank PAC 184 for being here. My son was a former member of this very PAC, and it's nice to see you guys are still here and helping in the community. So we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Thank you.
Mrs. Winters.
I want to thank you guys for coming out. It was nice having a little session down there, a little Q&A, which went both ways, which was kind of nice to see the answers going both ways. And I just want to thank the police and everyone who did all the hard work for the Pumpkin Festival, which was just almost 2 weeks ago? Last week? Last week. And thanks for coming out.
Mr. Mignone.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. Special thank you to the PAC 184 troops and the very intelligent questions that you had prior to our meeting tonight. Thank you. Be safe going home.
Mrs. Trotter.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you also to PAC 184. Thanks for your questions. I hope we were able to help you. And if there's something else we can help you with, let us know and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Mr. Mercado.
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. PAC 184, thank you for being here and helping me assist in running the meeting. We have a couple announcements. Trunk or Treat will take place here in Veterans Park on October 27th, the last Friday of the month, from 7 to 9 o'clock. There'll be hay rides and music, candy, of course, and free hot chocolate. So if you guys can make your way up here, yeah, it's a big night. A wonderful job where we had a drive-in movie theater at Timber Creek this past week. There was over 200 cars there. And granted, the movie was over 20 years old, but I think people enjoyed it as a beautiful evening being out at Timber Creek. And I think that's something that the mayor would like to do on an annual basis, have this drive-in movie theater. There's a big screen, guys, so you can drive up and tune in with your car and listen to the movie through it, or just sit outside your car. Good job. I want to congratulate Frankie Schmidt. Frankie, this past week, was honored at Highland Regional High School as part of the 1975 state-winning baseball team. They were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Frank, to you and your teammates. And lastly, on this Saturday, we have Citizens Appreciation Park in Glendora, our ceremony. Ms. Carr is one of our recipients, correct, Ms. Carr? Will be one of our recipients. There's close to 40 individuals in our community that have been honored that their name is affixed on the monuments in Glendora at Citizens Appreciation Park. That starts at 10 o'clock. And lastly, our condolences to the Lawrence family, Mr. Lawrence, and also to Marge Martinez. Marge, I served on council with Marge the last 2 years that she was on council. She served for 3 years, but she was also an employee of our township for 25 years, retiring in 1999, and her family was very involved in our community. If you go down to Lakeland, that facility is named after her mother, but was a wonderful community servant, and our condolences to her and her family. With that, entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening. Good job.
Hey, Dave.
All right. Picture. Good job.